Can't tell if we're streaming. I don't think we are.
Are we on?
I think we may be. Hold on. I want to get to like the stream, like studio, if at all possible. It would be nice. But yeah, it looks like we're on. So welcome back, everybody. Hold on. Just hang tight while I get my studio going, if you have joined. Analytics is what I'm looking for. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Buddy, hold on. We are good to go.
Yeah, we are in fact on.
What's that?
We are in fact on.
Excellent. So obviously my timing could use some work, but it seems like we are on. Onto YouTube later, but we are doing our live mock drafts for tonight. We're going to give it a few minutes, just let people kind of pour in. Maybe we can talk about our jerseys while we wait for folks. So I'll let you go second, Tyler, but I am wearing my Jahmyr Gibbs White Lions jersey. He's one of the more famous picks of the Brad Holmes era. And there's kind of a story behind this. It won't be as impressive as Tyler's later on, but a top NFL analyst was quoted as saying that teams will throw positional value out the window this draft. I don't know if you've seen that, Tyler. I've seen it on Twitter a few times, but
I've seen a little bit of it.
I wanted to wear the jersey of the time that positional value was most famously thrown out the window in the last couple of years, when everyone clowned the Lions for taking a running back at number 12 overall. And now he has had more touchdowns than Barry Sanders did in his first, however many seasons. So, yep, we have our first comment. It is from Tia, Tyler. It says, "Sick jersey, Tyler." So that's a great segue to let you talk about your jersey, Tyler, while we wait for other folks to pour in.
Yeah, I was looking in my closet earlier, and Tia actually helped me pick it out. But I was looking in my closet earlier, trying to figure out what to wear, and I stumbled upon this, and I knew this is what I was going to be wearing tonight. So, to the viewers that don't know, my dad passed away about a year ago. He passed away in January of 2025, just 2 months before we started our show. And I always tell my family that I really wish Dad could have been able to see the show, among many other things about his passing, but I'd always wished he was able to see the show. And so tonight I am wearing his Otis Taylor jersey, number 89. He was drafted in 1965 by both the NFL Philadelphia Eagles and the AFL Kansas City Chiefs. This is back when the AFL did not have recognition. They did not have the worldwide or national recognition that the NFL did. And so the Chiefs, the Eagles actually hid Otis Taylor in a hotel room to prevent AFL teams from getting him. Well, 2 Chiefs scouts snuck into the hotel room, got Otis Taylor out, brought him to Kansas City, and he is now in the Chiefs, in the Kansas City Chiefs Hall of Fame as the best wide receiver to play football in Kansas City. My dad was a huge fan of him. He watched him score a touchdown in Super Bowl IV during his childhood. He was always a big Otis Taylor fan. And so tonight I am wearing his jersey in honor of my dad.
That's a great story, Tyler. And I also really, really wish, I think your dad would have loved the show. So it's a great sentiment.
He would have commented on everything. He would have been there for it all. And then he would have not known, this is the joke that we make about him too. He would not have known that our shorts are snippets of our main thing. So I know he would have been like, "Now you're short. Did you talked about that on the full episode too, right?" And it's the same thing.
Yeah, no, that's some people do, I imagine, only watch the shorts though. But your dad, knowing him, he would have watched every single piece of content that we put out, and short, long does not matter. So that would have been great. But
He's the reason for all of our behind-the-scenes season ticket content as well, including tomorrow night where we will be downtown at Power and Light District at a private Chief season ticket event. He's the one who got us season tickets back in 2000. So all of the behind-the-scenes content that you viewers love is courtesy of my dad.
But yeah, that's a great sentiment, Tyler. Obviously, my jersey now is a little less meaningful. It's just kind of my jersey is more of like a homage to the Lions organization and the way they've drafted recently. But yours means a lot. And obviously, if this stream takes off later down the line, obviously, I think we have 3 concurrent viewers. So we appreciate you viewers. We're just letting more people pour in before we start the mock drafts, talking about our jerseys. But obviously, any donations that we got during the stream, I think our future plan would be to go to the MS Society, just because it would be great, and the sentiment would be also there as well. However much we would ever do, but that's for a later thing, because I don't even think YouTube allows us to take donations, so we're not even going to talk about that. We're not big enough. So if you want us to get to that point, feel free to subscribe, and we'll get closer and closer to our goal of 500 subscribers here, which is very, very close. But I'm going to go ahead and share the PFF mock draft simulator, because we have 8 viewers and 3 concurrent viewers, and I'm sure those 3 dedicated viewers would love to see the mock drafts begin.
Absolutely.
But I think our first mock draft time that we typically do, right, is you and I going through the full first round and kind of doing each team's picks, right? We'll get to our fun mock drafts later. We'll get to our team, our full 7-round mock drafts even later than that. But we do want to make sure that we get our final night before the draft predictions. Now that, the 10th pick is held by, what is it, the Bengals or something?
Actually, no, they've
Giants,
traded it recently. The Giants now acquire. I saw a stat that this is the first time in Bengals franchise history that they traded away a top 10 pick for a player.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. So, wow. And now the Giants have 2 top 10 picks, and one at 5 and one at 10. So Tyler and I were debating this offseason, will the Giants take this position or that one? Well, now they could probably snag both. But without further ado, we'll start our first. Maybe we'll do one without trades and one with trades, and just kind of like gauge from there. But we can go ahead and get started with our first mock draft. This is, once again, our all 32 teams first round mock draft. Last year, if you were watching all the way back then, we ended up getting the first 9 or 10 selections correct and like 12 of the first 15 correct, despite our commenters. Oh, we have a comment from Blossom saying, which team is one good draft pick away from a serious Super Bowl contender? So before we get started, maybe we ask that question.
Ooh, that's a great question.
I love that question.
One pick away from a serious Super Bowl contender. To me, I think that's going to be a team that's going to be drafting in the mid-range. I think the top 10 picks are going to be a lot of rebuilding modes. So as I'm looking at that, Zach, I might be looking at your team here. So you guys have a lot of offensive weapons, and you guys keep getting banged up on defense. But if you add one superstar that just hits a home run in the draft and then stay healthy, I think Detroit's a very serious Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't want to go Detroit, but I agree with you. I do think that with a 4th place schedule, the easiest in the NFL, after coming off one of the hardest ones, getting everybody healthy, having a much better offensive coordinator and a second-year defensive coordinator, and defense was really where the Lions had the problems. Everyone said, oh, Ben Johnson leaving killed us. The Lions were 8th in offense last year, down from 5 with Ben Johnson. Was that really that big of a drop? It was really the defense going from like 9th to 23rd. So I think the Lions are in contention. For me, though, I definitely feel like, if you can hit with Buffalo's pick, I think that Buffalo is a nice choice late in the rounds, because some of these later picks are, I don't want to go too obvious, but like Buffalo wasn't even in the AFC Championship last year. So I don't think that's a cop-out. I think that Buffalo truly could get over the hump next year with a nailed draft pick in the first round? But great question.
Well, and just the way Buffalo has lost in the playoffs these last 5 years also shows that like they're contenders, but they've never like the only time is in 2024 and 2020 that is the only times they even got to the championship. They are the only team in history to win a playoff game in 6 straight seasons and fail to earn a Lombardi.
Yeah, it's absurd that how unlucky or how successful but not successful they are. I don't even know what the right word is. But without Las Vegas, no. But you do the honors. Who are the Raiders selected? Recently, selection.
It's a fairly safe assumption.
1 second, Tyler. It seems like we're having an audio issue really quick.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep. Hold on. Let's make sure that we're all good here.
Hamer, sorry, we're having a technical difficulty at the moment.
Yep. It looks like I've fixed it now. So
okay. But what I was saying about Arvell Reese is that the sports market odds are trending more and more in favor of the Jets selecting linebacker Arvell Reese at pick number 2. So it's a pretty safe assumption that Arvell Reese goes at number 2, pending any wild trades for that number 2 pick.
Yeah, so we're going to go with Arvell Reese at 2. I believe the audio is fixed. Yep, Shanna says it's fixed, and Tia does. Thank you,
Perfect.
everybody. But
Perfect.
Arvell Reese is the selection at 2, and now we have a very interesting selection. Now, I think we agreed no trades here, right, Tyler?
Yeah, and this first mock draft, we're not going to do any trades. Trades become so unpredictable, but there has been rumors that a number of teams do trade Arizona for this pick. So this is something to watch out for tomorrow night. But for the purposes of this mock, no, we're not going to do any trades.
Yeah, and Arizona has also been moving like they want to get rid of this third pick by kind of publicly saying that they're going to take one player or another player. But if they stick and pick, I like Francis Mauigoa for them. But what do you think?
If they stay at 3, I think that they may end up getting Sony Styles, but I do like Francis Mauigoa because I think that's what they're wanting, and they're willing to trade back because I don't think Francis Mauigoa is like a number 3 pick guy, but that's who they want. So I do agree. Francis Mauigoa does seem to be my favorite for the Cardinals.
Gotcha. So we will make that selection for Arizona and move on to Tennessee. Now, Tennessee is interesting because when we covered them actually or during the season, we kind of trusted Adam Schefter's report that they may not be taking Jeremiah Love. So, but running back is their top need according to PFF, and I've seen a lot of mocks saying that Jeremiah Love goes this highly. He's on the top of a lot of people's draft boards for the number 1 pick. So, what do you think, Tyler, about Tennessee's selection? Because I am waffling here.
Yeah, this is where it gets tough. Running back, their top need. They also need an edge, and David Bailey is still on the board.
So, do you think they could go Bailey here and let Bain fall, or go Bain and let Bailey fall? It's just really a matter of who Robert Saleh wants in his
I don't think Ruben Bain is going here. I do think that the heavy favorites are David Bailey being the first edge off the board. And with Robert Saleh being a very defensive-minded coach, I can see him going to get David Bailey. But I can also see him going to get Jeremiah Love.
What scares me about selecting David Bailey here is the fact that the Titans already traded for Jeremiah Johnson, a linebacker hybrid edge from the Jets. And David Bailey is fairly light in terms of edge rusher, 6'3", 250. He kind of already fits that mold. I think he could be a 3-down guy, but Ruben Bain fits that a lot better at 6'3", 270. So I think that schematically, if they were going to go an edge, I would probably want them to go Bain here.
And I just think Bain's too early. So, I mean, do we want to go Jeremiah Love then?
We could, and then maybe in the next draft we can do something different. But
yeah, and there have been times where a team will almost report they're not interested in somebody to let them fall to that person or to that team. So I do like Jeremiah Love in Tennessee.
Okay, so we will go Jeremiah Love despite Schefter's reporting. To be fair, Schefter did just report that the Dallas Cowboys have been pragmatic about getting their contracts extended, and it's clearly a lie on behalf of an agent.
Mm-hmm.
So the New York Giants at pick 5. Now I think this is a slam dunk. We talked about this when we were breaking this class down. Sonny Styles is the total package at off-ball linebacker, and he fell right into Harbaugh's lap here for the Giants. I'd say we just nail this one.
I agree that's going to be such a big addition to their defense. I don't think edge is going to be where they go just yet, especially with 2 good edges still on the board and them having picked 10. So I think Sonny Styles, you're not going to get another Sonny Styles in this draft.
Agreed. He's one of one. And we once again, we're not trading, but here's where I think a trade could occur in the real draft. I think Cleveland would not be opposed to moving down because all but one of the 2 positions I think they're going to target in the first round is gone. I think they're going to target wide receiver and tackle, and only Francis Maui-Noah is off the board. So if Maui-Noah was their guy and they have another guy that could fall to 9, for example, I think they could trade with Kansas City, and the Kansas City Chiefs could move up and draft a guy like David Bailey. But obviously, this is our no trade draft, so I'll save that analysis for later. Who do you think Cleveland goes at 6?
I think Cleveland goes with the guy that they would trade up to go get, and that is going to be wide receiver Carnell Tate. The Giants also could use a wide receiver, but obviously if they don't do that, then Carnell Tate's going to be the option there. I love Carnell Tate to Cleveland, whether Cleveland trades or not.
Yeah, I think that would feel a big need for them for sure, since they can't really address quarterback in this draft. Now Washington, without Jeremiah Love on the board, also needs a wide receiver. Could this be where a lot of draft hype has come lately about Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver from Arizona State, because his upside's crazy. I'm curious what you think about him potentially going here.
I just think it's too early for Jordan Tyson. I can see Washington doing that. But one other name that I want to throw out that we can talk about is Caleb Downs, the safety out of Ohio State. Washington does need a safety. That's also one of their positional needs.
Yeah, I don't think this would be a bad spot for Caleb Downs to go, because I think that a lot of teams are going to have him number 1 on the board. However, I've seen some reports that there's a greater than 50% chance that Caleb Downs falls out of the first round. So
falls out of the first round?
Sorry, falls out of the first 10 picks. I apologize.
Okay, I was like, what?
Because a lot of Lions reporters are saying because that chance is rising higher and higher as we get closer to draft night, there's a chance that the Lions move up and pick him at like 10 or 11. So just something to keep in mind. But in our no trade draft, I think that Caleb Downs would go here. Back-to-back OSU players.
Yep. Lock it down. Caleb Downs at 7.
And now, with the top wide receiver and linebacker off the board, I do think that this is where Jordan Tyson could go. I truly do. They need weapons for their new quarterback, Tyler Shaw. I don't think that Mekhi Lemon brings them the upside that they're looking for. I think that Jordan Tyson's the most talented wide receiver in the class, and he has had so much buzz. I'm not kidding, so much buzz in the last week. This one might be one you just have to trust me on.
You know what? I will trust you on it then. Jordan Tyson at pick 8 to the New Orleans Saints.
And you can trust me on this one because I'm about to trust you on this next one. Both edges have fallen.
Both edges have fallen. I mean, initially, I didn't think David Bailey was going to get out of the top 3, which is why when the report about Ruben Bain in his car accident came out, I was like, he's going to fall to the Chiefs. He reminds me a lot of, oh my gosh, Jalen Carter, to where he had a vehicular accident. He fell to a Super Bowl contender who weirdly had the 9th pick. They take him. He becomes amazing. That, to me, sounds like Ruben Bain. But if David Bailey's on the board, they go Patrick Mahomes' alma mater between those two picks.
I just think that, obviously, there's some weaknesses in David Bailey's game, or else he would be going number 2 overall, where Arvo Reese went. But this 21% pass rush win rate, and he's also not a terrible run defender at 81. He's also stacked 2 great seasons back-to-back. I do think that Bailey would be the selection here. And this brings up a very interesting choice for the Giants because both receivers that they needed have left the board. They don't really need an edge. They have one of the most complete edge rooms in the NFL. Could this be where the top guard goes off the board in Vega Ayone?
Yeah, I think it's very possible. They need a guard. Like you said, the wide receiver's gone. You've got to go protect Jackson Dart. And they did not do that last year. They did not protect him. He got hurt. Does Cam Scatterbo, do they typically run inside or outside? Meaning, are they going to go off guard or off tackle with him?
They do a lot of inside with Scatterbo, and they also have another running back that they run outside zone with, who I'm completely blanking on the name of. But
so if you need to protect Jackson Dart, and Cam tends to go inside, I feel like guard's got to be the choice here. That Penn State guard.
I also think that he's one of the best offensive linemen I think he might be the most complete offensive lineman in the draft and the best prospect this year. He's just a guard, so he doesn't get all the hype that Maui Noah gets. But now it's an interesting choice for Miami because they also needed a guard, and they also needed a wide receiver, but it seems both of those have left the board. Could they take a sliding Ruben Bain? Or will they go the top corner left in Mansour Delane?
That's what I was going to pick is Mansour Delane, because defensive back doesn't even say corners, it's just defensive back. Any help in the secondary Miami needs. And this is where I think the LSU grad is going to stay playing in hot weather.
Interesting. And now the Dallas Cowboys are up. There's been a lot of speculation that they're going to make a move up, but if they stay put, all of their needs are on defense, linebacker, and they also have another pick. So if they stay put, they can draft 2 top-level defenders, not just 1. But I think that it would be hard for Dallas to pass up Ruben Bain. It would be hard for Jerry Jones to pass up Ruben Bain falling this deep.
No, I agree. Ruben Bain is number 5 on the PFF big board. And Jerry Jones likes to make splash moves. Ruben Bain going to Dallas is a splash move, especially after losing Micah Parsons last year. The Cowboys defense really struggled after losing Micah Parsons. They've got to fill that hole, and Ruben Bain's going to go fill that. Not saying he's going to be Micah Parsons level, but that's going to be the hole that they need to fill.
And to be fair, they're completely different players in terms of like body type.
No, 100%. I'm more just talking about the dominant pass rusher that Micah Parsons is. Ruben Bain being an edge rusher also. Yes, they are different players, but Jerry Jones doesn't know that. He just knows Micah Parsons gone, Ruben Bain in.
Sure. And I do think that there are 3 options here. There's the top 2 tackles on the board because the Rams need to address that position. And then there's Mekhi Lemon. Really the last top 3 receiver left. I mean, you could argue it's Omar Cooper Jr. all the way down here, but it's a matter of whether they want to address that wide receiver 3 spot because they have Adams and Puka, or if they want to take the number 2 tackle off the board. I'm curious your thoughts.
I feel like they've got to go get Matthew Stafford weapons. We talked about it on our last episode of Puka kind of being questionable right now, given his off the field stuff. Go get some support with the Devontae Adams. Go get another weapon for Matthew Stafford while he's only got a few years left. I really like going wide receiver for the Rams.
Okay. I agree. I think that they'll let Freeling and Fano fall. Now this is an interesting spot because the Baltimore Ravens are heavily mocked to take Vega Ione, but now he's gone. There is a player who has been rumored to want to kick into guard quite often, and that's Spencer Fano because of his short arms. He's like a T-Rex. So that could be a player that Baltimore then selects and moves to guard. What are your thoughts on that? Because I don't really know if there's a receiver that they're going to draft. It says it's a need. I haven't seen them mock to take a receiver. They also need a center and a guard. So anybody who can kick inside to help their middle of the O-line would be huge.
I think if they go wide receiver, they're going to go get Omar Cooper Jr. I think he fits very well in Baltimore. He's a speedy wide receiver, not the best size, but a speedy wide receiver. And he kind of gives me that Zay Flowers vibe. But I also like the idea of them going to get Spencer Fano and moving him to guard as well. I think either of those are up in the air for Baltimore.
I think that if they were to go get Omar Cooper, they would trade back a little bit. Well, the Jets are right here. So maybe not, because Cooper Jr. could go right here. But I lean Fano only because he's a very good offensive line talent, like top of the line, and they need to protect. And they need to maximize both Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I like Fano.
All right, let's pull the trigger here on Spencer Fano. And this was our lock of the draft coverage cycle, right? You and I both had the same player here, and he is available. That's edge Akeem Mesidor. Do we still feel that way?
I agree, because even with, Kenyon Sadiq falling, Kenyon Sadiq's another mock possible as well. Tight end is one of their needs. But a lot of people mentioned Akeem Mesidor. He is there. I think we continue to mock him there.
Yeah, 6'3", 280, 20-plus pass rush win rate, and is one of the better run defenders at the edge position in the class. Doesn't get much more Todd Bowles than that.
If we are wrong about Akeem Mesidor, it's because they went with the tight end out of Oregon, Kenyon Sadiq.
Yeah, I think that would be a huge swing for their offense. And last year, it's not out of the question, because last year in the first round, they ignored some great defenders and went Emeka Egbuka, who turned out to be a great addition for them. So it's not out of the cards either. So that was a tougher choice than it was earlier in the year for us, because we had Sadiq going a little later. But the Jets are now on the clock. They've addressed their need of edge. So now it's wide receiver or corner.
Yeah, they got that linebacker in Arvell Reese. To me, this is where Jermon McCoy out of Tennessee goes.
Really?
I think he's a good corner. I don't think there's any wide receivers left. I mean, there's Omar Cooper Jr. I don't think he falls to, or I don't think he goes to the Jets. There is a few edges, but I do like Jermon McCoy.
Okay. It is one of their needs after they traded away Sauce Gardner. And I think it would be, it's a little risky, but I do think that he's like top 5 talent. Definitely one of the top defenders in the class. It's really just the reporting around his knee injury that makes a lot of nerves. He could end up sliding out of the first round. He could end up getting taken here, but just for the sake of it, let's take it here. And then move on. Yes. And then here is my team, the Detroit Lions, and I'm a little torn because early in the draft process, if you told me that Monroe Freeling would fall, I would say smash take. But Monroe Freeling is very risky. He only has 18 starts in college. He's a pretty raw talent, and he's almost a polar opposite to Blake Miller, Clemson's tackle, who played 875 plus games in his last 3 seasons. He's only missed 1 practice in all of college. He started every game. He's a great pass blocker. He's good in all run blocking schemes. He's very good size. He's 21. There's not a whole lot of downsides in his game. He just needs to get a little stronger in the run game. I think that the pick here would be Blake Miller over Monroe Freeling.
Like Miller over Freeling?
Yes.
Okay. You're the one that's following all the Lions pages. I won't question you on it. I'm not going to question the Lions fan on this one.
I just think I have a feeling, a gut feeling about this. And now this moves us on to Minnesota, who we also had taking a locked player who's still here, Dylan Thieneman. Smash?
Yeah, I again stick with that. We had him falling to Minnesota. He's there. This is what we've been discussing all offseason long is the Oregon grad going to Minnesota, staying up north.
Right, and I don't want to just skip over this player because we had an automatic. He is a great, speedy, versatile safety that's going to fit in the Brian Flores defense perfectly. His only weakness is he's a little undersized in terms of weight at 205 at safety, but I don't think that matters for Flores. He's going to line him up in nickel, over the top, outside. He could line him up at interior defensive lineman because Brian Flores is that crazy, and he would find a way to get him pressure on the quarterback. So,
and the other reason I want to highlight too is when I look at the Vikings' needs, their needs are running back, center, interior defensive line, and safety. Jeremiah Love is gone, and the next running back, and the next best running back is not a first-round pick. There is no center worthy of drafting in the first round, let alone pick 18. I think 18 is a big reach for any of the defensive linemen. I think there's going to be a lot of good defensive linemen available in their second round, and Dylan Thieneman is a first-round pick. He is the only player within their position group needs that is worthy of being a first-round pick.
Interesting. Okay, I agree with you.
Or he's the best player in their position group needs.
Because you're taking a risk on Emmanuel McNeil-Warren because he is a group of 5 player out of Toledo.
Yes. I'm saying Dylan Thieneman is better than Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. But Emmanuel McNeil-Warren is worthy of being a first-round pick still.
Gotcha.
And now Thieneman, I'm saying, is better.
I agree. But we'll move on to the Panthers, who we also have taking one of their needs, probably. We both agreed that Kenyon Sadiq would be the selection here. And he's a freak of nature. I want to spend some time on him, too. Don't get it twisted. Sadiq is absolutely blazing speed at the tight end position. 6'3", 245. I believe it was a sub 440. Just absolutely. He was a 100-meter sprinter. His only concern really was he did not produce a lot in college. His stats are underwhelming. Only 560 yards, but 8 touchdowns. So I do think that this fills a huge need for Carolina and is a high upside selection. Very similar to the Kyle Pitts selection, although they get him at 19 rather than however high Pitts was drafted. I think it was top 10.
Yeah, I think it was pick 8. The other thing is with tight end being a need, if they pass on Kenyon Sadiq, they won't get another good tight end in this draft. They're going to have to wait until a late round pick to get a tight end and hope that third or fourth round tight end selection becomes really good, and he won't be better than Kenyon Sadiq.
No, I agree with you. So I think it's interesting that Dallas is up. They've already selected Ruben Bain because he fell big time. And now their need remains defense. They do need a linebacker, and CJ Allen remains on the board. He's a great run defender. He's ranked 18 on PFF's board. I just didn't see many mocks saying CJ Allen to Dallas at 20.
What are your thoughts on Caden McDonald, the interior defensive lineman? Are they going to go 2 defensive linemen in the same draft?
I think it's possible because of how deep the corner class is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's possible. But I think
agree that
more
CJ Allen might not be the move.
I mean, they could also go. I cannot see them drafting offense here. After they selected a guard at 12 overall in Tyler Booker last year, I just don't see them going offense here. I wouldn't mind swinging at Caden McDonald here for the Dallas Cowboys. It's their top need.
So as we select Caden McDonald, why Caden McDonald over CJ Allen?
I just think that controlling the trenches has worked so well for other teams in the NFL, i.e. Philadelphia and, honestly, the San Francisco 49ers. Like, having a wealth of pass rushing talent has been so helpful, and I think that Dallas wants to do that, especially because they have an aging player there that they acquired in the Micah Parsons trade and Kenny Clark. So it'll be interesting to see what they actually do.
My reason is because of just like the players that are there. So CJ Allen had a 75 PFF grade. He's physical. He's got a strong run defense, but PFF's also pointing out he's got length limitations. Now, when I look at Caden McDonald has an 86 PFF grade. He has a 91.2 run PFF grade. He was ranked the best interior defensive lineman amongst the he was the highest defensive interior lineman on the big board, and he was ranked best among FBS interior defensive linemen.
Yeah, I think that's the way you sell Jerry Jones on it. He was the best at his position in this draft. Mm-hmm. Jerry Jones loves drafting the best. I mean, you could argue he got the best edge and the best defensive interior player in this draft. It's arguable.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Cowboys would be upset if they did that on draft night. But the Steelers are up. These 3 positions look to be taken already, unless they want to go Emmanuel Pregnon, who's way down here. I do think that Monroe Freeling falling this far would be perfect for the Steelers. They would take him in a heartbeat, with tackle being one of their needs.
I do wonder here. Wide receiver's not one of their needs. But I do wonder about Omar Cooper Jr. because the draft is in Pittsburgh. When you are the team, that dictates it doesn't dictate, but it does affect a little bit. You want your crowd to be wowed about your pick. And Omar Cooper Jr., the national champion, the super speedy guy coming to the Steel City, I think it's more flashy than a tackle. Does that, being in Pittsburgh, mean anything to you?
I don't think it moves.
Or is it? Do you think it'll mean something to Pittsburgh?
I don't think it moves the needle for me that it's in Pittsburgh. I think that may have just been a Brett Veach thing by taking Felix Uzama.
Yeah, he took the hometown hero.
And I think that overall football operations, especially because of how sound the Steelers have been draft-wise, aside from the Kenny Pickett blotch on their record, I think that the Steelers have drafted really well. And I think it would be wise for them to go offensive line here in Monroe Freeling.
I do agree, but I did have to address that situation because I know some people that they care about it. Some NFL GMs do care about it.
Definitely. And Tia is asking, we'll take a quick break at the Chargers pick. At what point in draft does a team shift from impact players to developmental prospects?
That's a great question.
It is.
I think it depends on the team.
That was going to say.
I think if you're the Chiefs, where you know what success takes, and you just got to fill in those pieces again, you're going for impact players. I think if you're a team like the Seahawks, who just won the Super Bowl, and I mean, they lost their running back, but I don't think they lost too many key players. You go more for those depth positions. If you're Detroit, who is just a healthy squad away from making it to the championship, you also go for developmental players.
Well,
So I think it just depends on the team.
I actually disagree with your analysis on Detroit, but I agree with your analysis as a whole. Because Detroit, we have taking Blake Miller, who was the most complete tackle prospect who had the most experience in college, rather than the developmental prospect in Monroe Freeling. Because they're only a player away, getting a consistent piece is probably better than getting a high ceiling piece. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how
I think we just have different definitions on developmental player, because to me, like, you're not a tackle away from a Super Bowl. Like you've got a good tackle, and now you're just kind of developing and strengthening that position.
God, I interpreted the question more as like, at what point does a team shift from a Caden McDonald to a Caleb Banks, who is a very developmental player in the sense that he doesn't have production. He's kind of like a height, weight, speed. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad example of height, weight, speed, but he's like a specimen, and he is going to take some time to get to where he needs to be. So maybe teams like the Chiefs or the Lions, who have to maximize a window with star players like Chris Jones and Travis Kelce retiring soon, would not want to take a guy like Caleb Banks because he's such a project. But they would take a guy like Caden McDonald if he was there, because he's a complete player and would contribute immediately. You need the teams that are in contending positions are fighting against the salary cap more than anything. So if you can get a 4-year contributor who stays healthy and outplays the crap out of his contract, then you're getting really good value, even if he doesn't reach the highest of high ceilings. Where you start shifting to developmental players is when you get teams like Cleveland coming up, who don't necessarily need a right now contributor. They could take a risk on a guy like Caden Proctor, who I have them taking because of the fact that he would be a project, but they don't necessarily need him to contribute right now. If in 3 years he's the top 3 tackle in football, Cleveland won this pick, because getting the best tackle in football at pick 24 and having an extra year because of the 5th-year option, that's a win, huge win. Anyway,
so would you say that the answer to her question would be that it depends on if a team is in right now mode or rebuild mode?
Absolutely, and I think and maybe that's our different interpretation of the word developmental rather than impact, because Blake Miller I would classify as impact, because look at his PFF grade, he's very consistent, but maybe not elite at anything. Whereas, take a look at Monroe Freeling. There's some deficiencies in his game. There's only, look at these snaps. There's not very many snaps. So, but anyway.
And I actually do agree, because I mean, I would say that the Lions are actually in right now mode.
Agreed.
And so they've got to go get a guy like Blake Miller who's going to contribute right away.
Definitely. But we're moving on to the Chargers, who need a wide receiver. We did just talk about Omar Cooper Jr. being the selection 1 pick before this one. But do the Chargers go guard, since both of their guard spots are bad, really, really bad? Do they overdraft someone like Pregnon? I think it's seriously possible, because it's such a huge need. Like, they were in the playoffs last year. They don't have a guard at either spot. And Pregnon is the 2nd best guard in football. And I think he's got good grades. And he's healthy, a good record, 13 games started in at least all of his last 3 seasons.
But I agree with Pregnon, because I'm looking at, like, who's behind. Like, if they pass on Omar Cooper Jr., who can they go get in the 2nd round? And I think guys like Casey Conception or Boston out of, I think it's Denzel Boston. I think those are going to be guys available in the 2nd round. If they pass on Pregnon, I don't see another guard for a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's really one of the better.
I see a Texas A&M guard who's on 48. I mean, maybe he's there. Yeah, but there's less there's less guards available later on, and so I do think they go guard now.
Smash it. Pregnon. So now the Eagles are in an interesting spot because we talked about edge and tackle in our video talking about the Eagles, but the rumors have swirled that they're going to get rid of A.J. Brown at the June 1st deadline. It's almost all but confirmed. That's why wide receivers are their number one need. So do you think that they take the top edge on the board, Keldrick Falk, or do they take Omar Cooper or someone like Cassius Howell, or do they take Omar Cooper Jr.?
The Eagles built their Super Bowl winning team on a stellar defense. Kind of like I just said with the Chargers at wide receiver, there's other good wide receivers, but they thrive on pressuring the quarterback and then defending the wide receivers. If you can pressure the quarterback and make him run for his life, you win championships. That's been the formula to beat the Chiefs, and that's how they won their Super Bowl. And I don't think they're just going to abandon that system, which is why I do like Keldrick Falk.
The 6'6", 285, 20-year-old edge rusher.
Either him or Cassius Howell. I do stand by edge rusher here.
So what worries me about Falk is that he's not necessarily the most polished pass rusher. He's kind of just really big, and he beats people because he's so big. He uses the bull rush. He doesn't really have much of a pass rushing plan when the bull rush doesn't work. Whereas Cassius Howell, much smaller, he's more of a stand-up outside linebacker, almost like an Orville Reese type player, although he does not have that same upside. So it's a matter of who do you think the Eagles are going to weaponize more in their offense? Who have the Eagles rotated more in? And I honestly think that Howell would be a more schematic fit than Falk. But I'm curious what you think as well.
Falk's big strength is that he's a good fit for multiple fronts because he holds the line of scrimmage well and he generates pressure. That's his big thing. Now, Cassius Howell does have a bursting pass rush, and he's PFF labels it as an arsenal in one-on-one situations. But I think that consistent hold of the line of scrimmage makes him really good with that pass rush. But I'm in favor of either one. I think either one would be really good Eagles.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see. But
Cassius Howell does have the better PFF grade, though.
Does he? Okay. And he's got the better win rate, too.
Yeah, Cassius Howell has an 81 PFF grade, while Keldrick Falk has a 75.
Yeah, I think we go Howell here. And just kind of get frisky.
Okay.
Falk will go to a team, maybe like Chicago, quite honestly, who just needs that 3-down lineman to help anchor their defense and help get pressure. But anyway, they're not up yet. The Browns are up. And I have them going Proctor here.
They just got their wide receiver at pick 6. So now they need someone to protect their quarterback that they've already invested in. And I agree. I think Caden Proctor fits what they need. If they pass on Caden Proctor, there is the Arizona State tackle, but I don't think he's better than Proctor. And so if they pass on him, there is Caleb Lomu, but I don't think he's better than that. I do think Caden Proctor is the best tackle available at this point in time.
Agree. And I think kind of like we talked about with that question that we got from the chat earlier. Thank you, chat. He's a more developmental tackle, maybe not the most polished guy ever, but he's got that really high ceiling because of his size. You know, he's huge at 6'7", 366. I think his playing weight actually dropped to around 350 at the end of the college season last year. That's probably where he'll sit in the NFL as well. And he looked really good when he dropped his weight in the last couple of games of the year. He's rising a lot on the board, so for him to be here is great. Notable about Cassius Howell, we got a chat coming in saying that Cassius Howell went to a local Kansas City high school, to Rockhurst. So shout out you Rockhurst grads out there.
I have seen Cassius Howell being mocked to the Chiefs at 29 if he falls that way. If the Chiefs don't get an edge at number 9, which we have them mocking them doing. But yeah, if they don't get an edge at 20, if they do not get an edge rusher at 9, and Cassius Howell is available at 29, I do think it's a great pick for Kansas City.
Yeah, so you do like him, and Eagles swipe him again,
Yeah, pretty much.
I really the needs here for Chicago are D-line and safety, and one of the safety, because they just lost their veteran safety Kevin Byard to free agency. There is a safety that has been falling, and it's Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, the Toledo grad. Would be interesting to see if they go with this safety out of Toledo.
Yeah, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren is the 21st pick on the big board of PFF. The best interior defensive lineman available is Caleb Banks out of Florida and Peter Woods out of Clemson. I'm not big on Caleb Banks, and I don't like Peter Woods at 25. And so kind of just by process of elimination alone, whether you want to trust the Toledo Rocket or not, it is Emmanuel McNeil-Warren.
Yeah, I think that this is the right spot for him to go. And now with the Bills coming up, one of their needs is an interior defensive lineman, and they also need a linebacker. And CJ Allen is falling, although I do think that falling is maybe not the right word here because I don't have him as like a top 25 pick as an off-ball linebacker. I don't. He may be that good, but I just don't see him going that early.
Yeah, I'm looking. Go ahead. Sorry.
He may be like a Jack Campbell kind of guy who went way earlier than people thought he would. At 18. So I mean, maybe he could go this early to the Bills, but I'm curious what your thoughts here on Buffalo's needs.
If Buffalo goes, you were saying linebacker, correct?
Yeah, CJ Allen, top of our board here.
If Buffalo goes linebacker, so here's the difference between CJ Allen and the second guy I want to talk about. CJ Allen, 75 PFF grade, 6'1", 235. PFF labels him physical, strong run defense, but with some length limitations. So you can take that how you will. The guy that I have my eye on a little bit is Christian Miller, the interior defensive lineman out of Georgia. 84 PFF grade, 6'4", 310. He's got a good, strong frame, and he's got a quick first step. I think that's something that the Bills want in their pass rush. What are your thoughts on either of those two? Because we haven't talked about Christian Miller yet. We haven't debated him yet tonight.
We haven't, but you have a good track record when you have your eye on a prospect that's outside the first round, and I don't hate going a little bit off script here for Buffalo.
I think Buffalo's just been really searching for that pass rusher. We now these guys are edges, but with Bosa and Miller, they wanted that pass rush, didn't work out for them. Christian Miller may be that next guy. Maybe go interior here.
Yeah, I don't hate this. So let's go with that. And now the Niners are on the clock.
Make a bold prediction with Christian Miller at 28. It's a reach, but if we nail that pick, there will be a clip about it posted.
Definitely. And I don't hate the logic there. It's one of their needs. And it kind of reminds me of Tyleik Williams last year, the Lions selection, who was a defensive interior player who was not really projected to go in the first round and ended up pick like 23. So, but now the Niners, they need an edge and a tackle. And there is TJ Parker, Keldrick Falk. There's also Max Ihedjador. I screw that name up every time. But he's really the last tackle off the board. I mean, we've kind of exhausted our resources here. I don't think, unless they want to go Caleb Lomu, who I don't have a first-round grade on, and neither does the PFF big board.
No, I don't like Caleb Lomu here. Max Ihedjador, if that's how you pronounce it, I apologize, Max, if you're listening and I mispronounced your name. 72 PFF grade. He's big and tall. He's 6'6", 330. The problem is he's got a short playing career, but he's got physical traits. He's a guy that I think can be a developmental player. And now that they did sign Trent Williams for a couple extra years, he could be a guy that learns under Trent Williams and develops. But if they're trying to get back to the Super Bowl, I like Keldrick Falk as that edge rusher.
I agree. Let's go Falk. And now the Texans are on the clock, and they need some help on the defense. It says their top need is running back, but they just traded for David Montgomery. And also, there's no draftable running backs here in the late first round, in my opinion. Once again, we've already talked about the fact that there are no centers and guards that are really draftable at this spot. So interior defensive lineman is the selection, and there are 2 available. There is a more proven prospect in Peter Woods, who, albeit doesn't have the greatest PFF grades, but he's very versatile. He's very young and very moldable. Great size and athleticism, and he doesn't have a problem making tackles. There's also Caleb Banks, who cannot tackle. We discussed him in our other episodes. He's a fantastic height, weight, speed kind of player, 6'6", 330. He's an absolute specimen, but he straight up cannot tackle. So it's a matter of who do you think the Texans are going to go here? I had them mocked to take Caleb Banks at this spot, but I'm curious what you think.
I don't like Caleb Banks. He doesn't even have a 70 PFF grade. Now, PFF grades are not everything at all, but Peter Woods does have a much better PFF grade. He's got strength and athleticism, and like I said when talking about possibly going Buffalo here, he's got an explosive first step. The pass rush grade can get developed, but I think Peter Woods has a lot more qualities about him to make him a more impactful player right away, while I think Caleb Banks is going to need to develop a little bit more before he becomes a threat on defense.
I think that's a solid analysis. I don't hate Peter Woods here and just letting Caleb Banks fall to another team. Your team's up again. Wow. 2 picks for Kansas City. This is, of course, in a universe where the Chiefs do not use 29 to move up to 3, as I have seen is possible.
Uh-huh.
So who do you think Kansas City goes?
So in this mock, we got the edge rusher in David Bailey at 9, which would be a wild fall. But we've got our edge rusher, which means now we need wide receiver or corner. And Avion Terrell and Omar Cooper Jr., who different mocks say both of those guys will end up going, or either of those guys could end up going. This is a toss-up. I really want Avion Terrell. However, I do think that tomorrow morning, Brett Veach is going to send a text to Patrick Mahomes and ask, who do you want? And I think that Patrick Mahomes will respond with the national champion wide receiver. And this is not even a far-fetched idea because it has happened multiple times. Now, I love that the GM listens to Patrick Mahomes. I want Avion Terrell. But I think they're going to draft Omar Cooper Jr., which is not a loss. Omar Cooper Jr. is a guy that I am excited about in this draft. He is a guy that I have underlined in my player profiles. He's got an 87 PFF grade. He's 6'4". He's 6 foot 204 in weight. He's well-rounded. He's got strong hands. It's what we need on offense. It's a win, but I think we need corner more. But I think the Chiefs will draft Omar Cooper Jr. in short.
Okay, very interesting. That's slightly unexpected. I don't see a ton of mocks having that, but you nailed the Chiefs selections last year. So
it's a Vici take. We need corner more than we need wide receiver, I think.
Definitely, but this is
something Brett Veach would do.
This is a deep corner class, and there are guys like D'Angelo Pons, another national champion, Colton Hood, and Chris Johnson for the Aztec that I think would be great options for Kansas City just 10 picks later or 11 picks later.
And that's what I want to happen. I want them to go get Avion Terrell and then go get their wide receiver, a guy like Denzel Boston perhaps, at the 9th pick in the second round. But I just think that I predict Brett Veach to disagree with me. And in Veach we trust.
Interesting. So now the
As the Chiefs
Dolphins are
Kingdom
back on the
says.
clock. Very similar selections earlier. They got their biggest need in Mansour Delane, arguably the best corner, true corner in the draft. Now Avion Terrell's available. Do they double up? I don't think so. They could, though.
No, they don't double up at corner. So that does leave wide receiver. It would make a lot more sense
Or BPA.
for Avion Terrell to go Kansas City and then Cooper to go to Miami.
Right.
But if Brett Veach does text Patrick Mahomes about it tomorrow morning, this is where I think they could reach and get Denzel Boston. I know I just said he could fall to the second round, but if the Dolphins are dead set on not drafting another corner in the first round, they could reach and go get Boston here.
I tend to agree, and that's why he's the pick there. And so now there are two options. Patriots need a linebacker and a tackle. And guess who the two of the top 4 players on our big board are? Linebacker and the last first-round grade tackle that I have. Because I don't like Glomo. So what's more important? I mean, we all watched that Super Bowl where Drake May got beat up over and over and over again, right? I really like the tackle here.
Yeah, same here. To me, this is where Max from ASU goes. I think CJ Allen's a better player, but a tackle is a higher need than linebacker for the Patriots.
Yeah, I just think that positional value does not quite matter as much here, or doesn't quite trump the need for tackle, rather. But 32, the final pick of our no trades mock draft. Who do the Seattle Seahawks go? They need an edge and a defensive back, and Avion Terrell has fallen into their lap.
100%. This is where they go Avion Terrell, if he's still somehow available. If Avion Terrell's gone, I think they go TJ Parker at the Clemson edge. But if Terrell is there, Terrell's not leaving the first round.
Absolutely. So this is the final look at our no trades full mock draft. I think it's possible. This draft, and the consensus around a lot of experts is that it's very, very unpredictable. Like last draft, there was a lot of consensus around numerous spots, but outside of 2, very, very difficult to understand where a lot of these guys are going to go.
Yeah, I mean, and so much can happen. There's going to be, I think, at least 3 trades in this draft. So I mean, I'm sure we're going to get something wrong. Mock drafts are kind of like a March Madness bracket. You're not going to get a perfect bracket, but if you predicted the national champion and a couple of Elite 8 teams, hey, you did well. If you predicted that the Chiefs go this position and that position, you did well. If you predict that the Cowboys go defense the whole way or fill that hole and that hole, you had a good mock. That's the way I look at the success of mock drafts.
But with this draft being so unpredictable, and with so many teams having multiple first-round picks, like last year, we got so lucky that every team had a first-round pick, and I think most teams use them. I don't know if there's any trades, actually. I think every team used their first-round pick. I might be wrong on that.
I can't remember.
Oh, no. The Falcons traded up. That's right. They traded back in to get James Pierce. Anyway.
That's right.
When we were mocking, every team used their first-round pick. So we kind of didn't do a trade one. We just kind of said everyone's stick and pick. But now I think we're going to do a second one where we do incorporate a little bit of trade shenanigans, and that's what we're going to start here. I'm going to queue up Mendoza and Reese because I don't think there's a lot of debate around those guys. The real debate starts here at pick 3, and that is Arizona. Really? That's the one?
I used my free PFF mock draft simulator. I can't go along with you, so I'm gonna have to stay on the screen here. So some possible trades. It looks like the Panthers. What does the Chiefs trade look like?
Yeah, so if the Chiefs were to go give up 9 and 29 for 3, not interested. Why are they giving me 1? I may restart this because normally there's more than one team available, like interested in this selection. I don't understand why that's happening. So we'll do Mendoza and Reese. Now there are 3. There's Miami. Oh, there's 4. New England, Houston, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Miami.
Weird that Kansas City's not on here.
Yeah, well, in my mocks they were, and I traded with them because I think the Chiefs have a chance to move up here. I don't know if you're sharing that opinion.
I do think they have a chance. Since it's not giving you the option to do that, I say we stick with Arizona.
I'll reload one more time.
I guess.
We'll reload
Yeah,
one more time.
Mendoza,
Reese.
and Reese. Yeah, I think those are your biggest locks.
Teams interested in pick 3. The Jets. Why would the Jets trade back? Are they the Houston Texans 3 years ago?
All right, that's what I was going to say. Texans did. All right, I guess
we could always just force this trade. I think this is we could just force trades.
It could be a divine intervention too. Could be saying, hey, it's not going to happen. They're going to stay at 9.
That's true, but I kind of wanted to experiment what would happen if the Chiefs jumped up to 3 to take a player that they really like.
If the Chiefs did trade up, whether we force this trade or not, if the Chiefs did trade up, who would they select?
Probably David Bailey, who ended up falling to them. But they want to jump, any of these squads. Probably Tennessee, honestly, because in our mock, we didn't have Tennessee taking Bailey, where I think that's very likely where he'll go. So I think they want to jump Tennessee and take Bailey. The other option is Dallas trading up, and we could explore that to take Sonny Styles from Tennessee and New York. I think that's been talked about quite a bit.
Okay.
So, which do we think is more likely?
I think it is more likely that Dallas trades up because I think Brett Veach likes to have an arsenal in his back pocket. I don't think he has, and by my knowledge, I don't think he's ever had a multiple first-round draft selection. And so I can see him going to do that or keeping those picks if the price is not perfect.
Right. And I think the Chiefs have too many needs to trade up. So Cowboys were on the clock for about 0.2 seconds because they slammed Sonny Styles, got their biggest need. And now Tennessee's on the clock. And just for the sake of the argument, let's say they go David Bailey here. Because I think that's really likely.
We had him mocking. Yeah, we had him getting love earlier. Let's say they get they get David Bailey this time. Do the Giants get Carnell Tate?
They could. They could select the number 1 receiver in Carnell Tate. And let's say they do it.
I was going to say, do the Browns trade up to go get him?
But who would they trade up with then?
With the Giants, they swap picks.
Well, if the Giants want Tate, then they're not going to swap with Cleveland. They're going to take Tate.
That's fair. If they really want Tate, then they know Cleveland would be trading with them to get Tate. So yeah, that's fair. So Tate to the Giants.
Now the Browns didn't get their guy. Are they going to stick and pick the best tackle, or are they going to trade back with all these teams that are interested, like the Rams or the Chargers?
I don't think the Browns are in position to trade. I think they would love to rebuild with multiple first-round picks. I think the only way that they trade up is if they trade with Tennessee to jump the Giants and go and get.
No, I'm
Tate.
saying the Cleveland Browns would trade back and get more picks.
You trade back?
Yeah, because they're on the clock right now.
I had not considered them trading back, to be honest. If they're at 6, I would, and Tate's off the board. My prediction would be Maui Noah.
Okay, so we'll just go Maui Noah then.
Yeah, I don't see them trading back.
And now we did discuss this.
Washington gets love, period.
Perfect. And now the Saints come up. They have the opportunity to actually take the same player that they took in our regular mock in Caleb Downs, now that linebacker and wide receiver is off the board. Don't hate.
Yeah, I agree.
don't hate running it back with them.
There's enough options on the board that the Chiefs aren't going to try and trade with the Saints for the Saints to get like their second best guy. I don't think they would do that. And this is where I see Ruben Bain falling.
Yeah. Now we're in a reality where Ruben Bain is a Chief, which I think is really, really likely at 9. I think that it's likely that not only he'll be there, but it's also likely that Veach will take him because he's huge upside. And the only reason he's probably not going top 3 is those character concerns.
Which, although, didn't you say that when that report came out, everyone in the NFL has known about that for months?
Yeah, they were actually
interviewing Lions.
Yeah, they were interviewing Brad Holmes, the GM of the Lions, and he just said, "Yeah, we've known this for quite some time, and there hasn't really been any fading of Ruben Bain." And I think he is the best true edge rusher in the class. I think he's better than David Bailey.
Yeah,
hot take.
The Giants got Tate. To me, this is where they go get. Oh, Downs is already picked. So they've got wide receiver. They've done that. Guard, no, not yet. Linebacker, or
I don't think they take CJ Allen here. Yeah,
safety. No.
Oh, they could take Vega Ayon here and do exactly what they did in a regular mock and get wide out guard.
Yeah. Because I think when they traded Cincinnati, they wanted the top 10 pick. So I don't think now they're going to trade back, especially when Miami has a need for a guard right behind them.
Right, but I think we have to realize, like, what were they envisioning when they traded up to 10? They traded away a defensive lineman in Dexter Lawrence. So are they like what player were they targeting here? Could it be a guy like Thieneman, who's second on our top board, and they need a safety?
Yeah, and kind of have a backup plan. Like, hey, if Downs falls, we'll go get Downs. If not, we'll go get Thieneman.
Yeah, and just maybe that was
guarantee that they get one of those guys. Almost guarantee that they go get one of them.
Right, and I don't think that's a bad option.
Because I actually wanted to say Caleb Downs. But then I was like, oh wait, we already took him. Yeah, I like Thieneman here. Let's throw some chaos in this draft.
Agreed. And then I don't think that if Delane's here, I don't think that the Dolphins go any different. So no. I say we run it back with them. And now the Cardinals have the chance to take the second best tackle in the draft.
Who did they get at 3 again?
They traded back with Dallas.
Oh, that's right. I was like, wait, what? Yeah. So, and this is a very Cardinals thing to do. I think this is what they did in 2023 when they got a tackle also, was they traded out of 3, they traded down, and then still went with that tackle, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you might be right. I don't remember well enough to confirm or deny. But I think
they got a good tackle somewhere in the top 15 a couple years ago.
And I think this is the perfect spot for Freeling to go. One of the highest upside players in the draft, developmental guy. They don't need him to be lights out right now. And he's got crazy high upside.
Their other needs aren't going to get taken at 12.
Agreed. So Freeling goes here at 12, right ahead of the Rams, who might have taken him. But now that Freeling's off the clock, I think their options are Lemon or Fano. Or Tyson. Wow, Tyson has fallen, and we had him going a lot sooner than this. I think Tyson would be a great Devontae Adams replacement.
And you like Tyson a lot. He's been climbing up your board, hasn't he?
It's not just me. Everybody likes Jordan Tyson right now. He's climbing up my draftable board. Like really, it was his injury concerns that's the only thing keeping him from being drafted where Carnell Tate is.
Yeah, I like that. I like Tyson to LA.
Okay, and now, once again, the Ravens have a selection where they could take. I think this is such a slam dunk in the guard.
Yeah, I agree.
They need guard and center.
I agree. Our last pick had them selecting a tackle to move to guard. So if the guard is available, go get the guard.
Mm-hmm. And maybe just for fun, we move Sadiq to the Buccaneers here. In this draft.
I agree.
And now we have Lemon on the board for the Jets at 16. So now they have a choice of wide receivers. They don't have to go Jermont McCoy. And I think they go with the wide receiver because it's a bigger need than corner for them.
The best corner is McCoy. Who did they get? They got Arvell Reese, right?
Arvell Reese, yes, the second overall.
Yeah, as much as the Jets do still need a corner,
but I think they have like pick 34, so they could select Colton Hood, who's ranked 34,
yeah,
coincidentally, or any of these guys, D'Angelo Pons, Chris Johnson, tons of corners in the top 50. Not very many wide receivers.
Yeah, I do agree with you on this. I do think it's a possibility that they go get McCoy, but I do think Lemon would be a good selection for the Jets as well. Go get, especially since they already got the defensive star. Go get the offensive star now.
And
I will let you select the Lions pick.
We had Fano gone by the time the Lions were up. I think if Fano's here, he's the only guy to take over Blake Miller. Fano's the selection. He's the guy I predicted in our Lions NFC North coverage. So if you want to see my full justification, I think I spend 5 to 6 minutes on Fano in that. But essentially, they don't care about arm length. Arm length is the only thing in Fano's game that's being criticized. Penei Sewell didn't have optimal arm length. Look at him. The Lions would draft Fano in a heartbeat. But now, the Vikings guy that we've been mocking to them all offseason is gone. No more Thieneman. So do they go Emmanuel?
I still think they get safety. I still think they go get safety because their other positions of needs are not worthy of being drafted at 18.
Right. I mean, you could seriously overdraft Caden McDonald here, but I think that safety is the better option.
Yeah, drafting Caden McDonald that high would not be the move. Yeah, go get the Toledo Rocket.
And now the Panthers need a wide receiver and a defensive interior position, and obviously a tight end, but they did not get the chance to go with Kenyon Sadiq. Do they potentially trade back?
Hey, we haven't seen a trade in a while. What are some of these trade offers?
Yeah, let's see who's interested. Cleveland is looking to jump some of these tackle needy teams and potentially get their guy.
Cleveland got who earlier? Remind me.
Oh, sorry, they got a tackle.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
But
so they're not going to jump a tackle needy team.
But they could jump 2 wide receiver needy teams, 3 wide receiver needy teams potentially, and pick Omar Cooper Jr. because they did not have the opportunity to get Lemon or.
What are the odds that Omar Cooper Jr. goes before pick 26 then? If they don't trade. Very, very possible with LA and Philly, right?
I also think it's possible that one of these other wide receiver needy teams, Miami, Kansas City, jumps in and takes Omar Cooper Jr. if he continues to fall.
Okay. So, yeah, I think Kenyon Sadiq is kind of like their guy. So I can see the Panthers making a trade back.
Yeah, so let's see if they want to trade back. Well, yeah, look, 3 receiver needy teams, Cleveland, Kansas City, Miami, are all looking to jump the Chargers and the Eagles, and presumably the Chiefs and the Dolphins are trying to jump the Browns, Eagles, and Chargers. So who do you think is most likely?
I see the Dolphins being more desperate than the Chiefs at that. I don't see the Chiefs trading right now.
But there's really only one first-round receiver left. So if you want to get him, you have to move up.
Yeah. I don't see the Chiefs being desperate at wide receiver. I don't think the Chiefs make this trade. So I would say if we make a trade here, we trade with Cleveland.
Okay, and I think that Cleveland is fairly desperate to address that position. So let's say that Cleveland gives up pick 39. What do you mean that pick won't be accepted? 60. Let's say they give up 70 to move up 5 spots.
Okay.
Their 3rd round pick, their early 3rd. It's accepted. The Panthers have decided to move back. And obviously they've moved up to jump everybody else and select a wide receiver.
That would be wild. The Cardinals are on the finally clock here. Yeah.
And they got their tackle. And now they
See,
need a linebacker or a defensive interior player.
This is where I see C.J. Allen possibly going.
Yeah, I could see him going top 20 if the Cardinals are here, just because, they just get a really impact starter who's going to play well for them for 4 years.
Uh-huh.
So let's go CJ Allen. I don't hate that at all.
Steelers.
Oof.
Guard, tackle, running back, quarterback. They're not going to do quarterback or running back here.
I
So
think
guard,
this is
tackle,
where Blake Miller goes.
Yeah, that's just or Proctor.
Who's the more Steelers player? A consistent starter or Caden Proctor?
I mean, I can see Caden Proctor being a consistent starter, honestly.
Maybe. It depends on if they can get his weight down or not.
Yeah,
I see Proctor going more to the Eagles, honestly, because they need a developmental guy behind Lane Johnson. So I see Blake Miller protecting Aaron Rodgers in his final year. They need somebody now, literally this year, whereas the Eagles can afford to wait on somebody like Proctor.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just sleeping on Blake Miller.
I think you might be, because he's actually ranked ahead of Proctor. He's
that's kind of what I'm seeing. So
look
either
at
I'm
rising.
sleeping on Miller or I'm overhyping Proctor.
Look at him in recent trends. Whew, he's jumped.
That's fair.
A lot.
That's fair. Yeah, and I guess the Steelers are his number one mock team. All right. I concede. Down to LA now.
LA wide receiver. They were not successful, or they got traded up actually. They got jumped by the Browns, so they lost the wide receiver. This could be where the first defensive interior player goes.
And this is Caden McDonald, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can see it. Yeah. I like Caden McDonald.
Really, there's unless they go Pregnon again, because that's their biggest need. Which we also consensus agreed to that last mock draft.
We did.
I think we stick with that. Let's see who he's most being drafted by. Houston, interesting. Cleveland, and the Giants.
I think it is I mean, we kind of reached on him last time. I don't know if I want to reach on him again.
Yeah, let's go with McDonald.
Who's he being mocked to a lot?
The Bears by a lot.
So both of these guys are basically late first round picks then.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, I still like Pregnon because he's such a big need.
Check Denzel Boston real quick.
Oh, there's Casey. Yeah. Steelers most drafted by. Interesting.
So Steelers, and so he's that early, or that early part of the late round,
and
that is this position.
I think they could address defensive interior later in the draft, but like if you want to get an impact wide receiver now, look at all these teams that need one.
Yeah, I
don't hate Boston.
I'd go for Denzel Boston because I'm not a fan of reaching with those tackles and guards.
And then Proctor should go here, I think, to sit behind Lane Johnson. Yeah. There's been a lot of mocks that put him there. And now the Panthers pick is finally back up after they traded back. And they need a defensive interior.
Yep, and this is where McDonald comes.
Perfect. I think the Panthers made a great deal there. Got the best defensive interior player and picked up another pick later in the draft.
Absolutely. And then who was the guy that was being heavily mocked to Chicago that we just talked about?
That was, I think you just looked. Who was it?
Scroll up.
That's all.
Was it
Cade McDonald? I think it might have been. Yeah, I think it might have been Cade McDonald. Yeah.
Yeah, it's McDonald. Okay.
So, he just went. Brutal. But we got the right spot.
Yeah, he just went. Yeah.
Lineman.
Caleb Banks.
Oh my gosh, but Mesidor has fallen so far. You don't think they would go after an impact edge like Mesidor, who's a top 15 pick in other drafts?
Since it's not one of their needs, I mean, I can see it.
It just says D-line. It doesn't say defensive interior. It just says all of the D-line.
All of the D-line? Oh, I thought that's a defensive interior. Oh, yeah, no, go get Mesidor.
Yeah.
If they need all of the defensive line, go get Mesidor.
I can make it bigger, maybe. Yeah,
that's all right. It's all good.
Yeah, DL. Now
okay.
the Bills. No linebacker. We had them going. Well, now the defensive interior could be like Caleb Banks could be the option here for the Bills.
Yeah. I do like Peter Woods over Caleb Banks, though.
So
I don't know
if
the Bills agree.
Yeah, any of these guys really fit their team?
Not since an edge isn't one of their needs.
Well,
They need more help on the defensive interior than they do on edge.
So we could reach on Peter Woods.
Yeah. Because is Bosa still in Buffalo? I hope that's not a simple question.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
No, but they do have a good edge though in Buffalo, right?
Yeah, they have. I thought they had AJ Epinesa, but maybe he's a free agent this year. Let's do some live research and see Buffalo's lineup.
Yeah, who am I thinking of? Who are those Bills edge rushers?
So, I guess let's see if he's still truly on the roster. Oh yeah, Greg Rousseau.
Yeah,
and then Bradley Chubb, who they traded for. So
that's right. Okay, yeah. So no edge rusher, no edge rusher. So yeah, I think they go Peter Woods or Caleb Banks.
Okay, let's go Woods then.
Okay.
Now the Niners need a tackle. Max is last available here.
Yeah, and I think that's a given if this is the lineup with them.
Okay, and then Texans are back. No Peter Woods.
This is where I think maybe they go Banks then.
Okay, and now the Chiefs are up. No receivers to be thought of.
The Chiefs got. Remind me who we picked them at 9.
We gave
Ruben
them
Bain. That's
Ruben
right.
Bain.
To me, this is this is that guy.
Wow.
This is Jermon McCoy. If he falls that far, that's who we're getting.
You think they take a risk
Avion Terrell is another duet.
You think they take a risk of his upside?
Yeah, I think so. Avion Terrell is a great pick, but there's kind of a reason that we haven't been able to mock him to Kansas City yet.
Right.
I think he could very easily go mid to late teens. So if he falls to 29, I think McCoy is absolutely a Chief.
Now I think this is where you could go best O lineman available and go Pregnon here for Miami because they got their corner.
And they need a guard. Yeah.
It's really between him and Casey Concepcion, right?
Yeah.
Who are ranked very similarly. Casey Concepcion, let's see who they mock him as. Like what? Luther Burden. I think he's more like a Kadarius Toney. Excellent return on special teams. Will line up in the backfield. One cut change of direction with and without the ball. And he has a ton of drops. That's why I compare him to Toney, because you Chiefs fans will know. Tons of potential.
That Loki kind of reminds me of Tyreek Hill also.
Yeah, but he just doesn't have 4.24 speed.
Well, yeah. But outside of that, like he's got a lot of qualities of Tyreek Hill too. I like Casey.
So who do you think the Dolphins go then? Wide receiver or guard? Guard's less flashy for sure.
I think they'll go wide receiver there.
All right, we'll go.
Leave it to the Dolphins to continually to fail to protect their quarterback.
Yeah, get Malik Willis, but not protect him. So now, with tackle, D-line, and linebacker, a lot of these edges are falling out. What do you think about Lomu going here? Because tackle's a big need for them.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Patriots will definitely go best tackle available one way or the other. And if Lomu is that best tackle, then that's who they go get.
I mean, this could be where Miller goes as well.
Oh, I forgot about Miller again.
We were talking about him. Very Vrabel selection.
Yeah. Let's go Miller.
And then
best edge available. Back. So that defensive back is one of their needs, edge and defensive back?
Edge and DB. So it's between Terrell and Falk.
I like Terrell.
All right, so we'll stick with Terrell. And here's our trades. What would have been interesting is if we had traded someone back into the first round or something. But
Hey, that would have been cool.
we have one trade back, one trade up. So we didn't go too heavy on the trades, but
yeah. But again, I mean, I did say at the end of our last draft, I can see about 3 trades happening. I don't think it's going to be a heavy trade team or a heavy trade first round draft pick. It's just that it could happen anywhere.
Gotcha. So we are
about 2 or 3 trades is about standard.
We are 90 minutes in to our stream. Thank you all for sticking in. We are going to do our own team mock drafts now, and then maybe we'll do like one fan suggested mock draft in the comments after that. We don't want to keep you guys too long. This has been great fun. We'll see how many are right. The most fun part about this is like having all you guys here and then watching it back tomorrow, seeing how many we got right. Especially when we do our own mock drafts. So I'm going to start one with the Chiefs and the Lions. We'll go and enter this draft. You ready to do our teams, Tyler?
Let's do it.
So Mendoza, let me know if you want me to pause it at 3 and if the Chiefs want to make a move. Or are you going to stick and pick?
Let's for this. Let's just do, since we're doing a whole 7 rounds of both of our teams. Let's just do stick and pick.
Okay, so I'll turn the speed up a little bit more so that we can stick and pick. All right. So no Ruben Bain.
No Ruben Bain.
No David Bailey.
Noah. No David Bailey. And no Mansour Delaney. To me, Caleb Downs. Love Caleb Downs here. Okay. He's been one of my favorites all draft long.
Wow. Tate falls all the way to 10 to the Giants. Okay.
That's wild, but we're only looking at Chiefs and Lions here.
So, yeah, Fano. I mean, yeah, love to the Giants. Thieneman goes to the Jets. Yeah, wow. Crazy.
I don't love the mock simulations here. I don't love the mocks, but we're just kind of sticking with what we're thinking.
I could adjust it a little bit if we want to and restart because I can change how the teams
I think it's good.
Yeah,
I think it's good.
We'll add some randomness in there. So this is the same situation I was faced with last time. Freeling or Miller? It's Miller for me every time.
Miller for you. All right.
Donald, Howell,
Going
Terrell.
to the Chiefs.
Oh, brutal.
We got Caleb Downs. Ooh, Omar Cooper Jr. falls right into us. Seeing it looks like Terrell's gone. Based on this, I mean Omar Cooper Jr. for sure, right?
Yeah, that would be a slam dunk for Kansas City.
Yeah.
And then Zion Young rounds out the first round, looks like. So
I can see that.
Proctor goes all the way to 30. Boston to the Patriots. I guess Boston proximity, name recognition. Christian Miller goes at 36 to the Raiders. That's a steal for them, in my opinion. Great selection. Yeah. And then the Giants. Wait a minute. The Giants get Tate and KC Conception? What are you doing?
Okay.
That's crazy. Well, the Chiefs are on the clock.
But if this is how it works out, we've got our linebacker. Or I'm sorry, we've got our wide receiver and we've got our safety. So now we kind of need our edge rusher a little bit along with the corner. I am looking at that Indiana grad as well.
Pons.
I'm also looking at Mason Thomas. But not terrible. I can see him kind of falling a little bit as well. Oh, and honestly, he's being mocked by the grab him.
Mason Thomas?
Grab him.
All right, the Chiefs will have to address corner later in this draft.
Into the Chiefs. Grab him.
So my team has now officially addressed their biggest need of the – oh, man, he's here. I think that Yakas is the selection. Where's did that corner go? Yeah, I would go Yakas here. He's a great fit for the Lions. That 3-down pass rusher, and it fits a big need. It's honestly the dream of mine to have it go Miller, Yakas if it falls that way. But now the Chiefs are back on the clock.
We've addressed all those needs, and so now, now that corner seems to be
Here, we can switch to
likely a little
corners.
bit. Yeah, let me see those best corners.
Tacario Davis, that would be overdrafting him.
Those are big reaches. If we get any corner, we're gonna get some of those tops. Let me see that. Let me see that big board again.
Yeah, here's the big board.
Is everyone
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Tight end.
That's kind of what I'm thinking there. Because Kelsey's he just signed a weird.
It's really just a 1-year
3-year
extension.
deal.
It's really just a 1-year extension. It's because Veach refuses to use void years. He's implementing void years in the sense of like their actual contract years. So he will.
Interesting.
Yeah, Kelsey
Yeah,
will not play those.
I like
Max
Max
Clare.
then.
Okay, we'll go Max Clare. And the Lions do not have a 3rd-round pick. So I believe that the Chiefs will actually select again before we come up.
All right, so Chiefs have
It's
selected
possible the Lions
4
trade back
positions.
into the 3rd round, but I might just stick and pick here for Detroit.
The Chiefs still haven't got their tackle yet, so I'm thinking that the next
Or their
pick
corner.
is going to be at tackle or corner, yeah. But the Chiefs do like their later round tackles. That's where we've seen a lot of success.
So at corner, you have 6'4" Tacario Davis at 21 years old.
I would love to have Will Lee there.
And Will Lee is also available.
The former Cat.
Yeah, Will Lee.
Because he's that K-State grad, or not grad, but I'd love to have him. My bias wants Will Lee, so that's where I want to go. I want Will Lee.
And now here's the Lions selection. So we've drafted an edge and a tackle. I think that's extremely likely in the top 3 rounds. Now, if I were the Lions, I would want some height in the cornerback room. And Tacario Davis is 6'4". I just want somebody that's taller than 6 foot that can match up against those tall receivers. Man, there's nobody else really here. I like Tacario Davis for the Lions. He's a little stiff, and now we're back on the clock. Okay.
Within the clock.
Let's see. Tight end is a need for Detroit, but I want somebody who's better at run blocking than Jack here. We've got our tackle. I think that linebacker after the departure of Alex Anzalone is a huge need. So I'm going to go with Bryce Bedecker here from the University of Oregon. So that's pretty much all the needs.
We're getting into that 5th round now?
5th round. Chiefs selection is up.
5th round. Give me Trey.
Trey Zune. Great pass blocker.
Tackle.
Look at that.
We need our tackle.
And now the Lions are coming up. Look, all of our needs, they're taken care of. Tackle, D-line, linebacker.
Nice.
I'm looking at maybe a David Montgomery replacement at this part of the draft. 3-down ability. But his stats were pretty bad. And he declined every year in terms of PFF. And he only had 21 attempts in 25. Not somebody I want to waste a pick on. Katron Allen, however, is somebody I would want to make a selection with. 210 attempts, 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns. Nicknamed Fat Man.
Nicknamed Fat Man.
If you evaluate him as a power back, there's plenty to like. I need to replace a power back in David Montgomery. Katron Allen is my selection at the 5th round. Now you're up.
All right. We're back with the Chiefs. We've addressed a lot of our stuff. Yeah, I mean, we can definitely go and get some more defensive backs. I think that would be really good.
Hezekiah Massis?
Yeah, honestly, I think that'd be good. Yeah, corner is definitely what I want. What do we think about this guy?
He's got a lot of forced incompletions. He's got a better coverage grade than run defense, and he's a zone corner rather than man.
And I think that fits the Chiefs' scheme a lot as well, especially with the departure of a lot of our corners. We need to stack up on one corner. We've got our safety, we've got our corner, but we need a 6th-round corner. That seems to be where we strive. I'd go get him.
Okay, you don't want to look at Thaddeus Dixon or Julian Neal? I mean, he looks like the best zone cover corner in the draft.
And that's that's what I do like. Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, you're back up anyway.
We are back up.
So
We've
your
just
picks
got
have been these. If you want to look at them.
oh yeah, I've got it on my phone as well. That's what I was looking at. We haven't done a ton of we haven't done a ton of skill position yet. We got Omar Cooper Jr.
And a tight end.
Yeah.
What you haven't done is, any O lineman depth.
Yeah.
Like a guard here could be the choice.
Guard, yeah.
6'5", 325. He's old.
Yeah, if he's 24, I don't like it because if we're gonna get a guard, we're gonna want someone that's young that can stick with our backfield for a while, and maybe replace Trey Smith if something happens.
I don't think you're gonna get a lot of young guards here late in the draft, though. Here's a Kansas player, Kobe Baines. Does not have his age listed, but he's a redshirt senior, so we can make our inferences.
Yeah. Let me see that halfback. Weirdly enough, I mean, in the 6th round, it gets so hard.
5.1
you're
yards
looking for guys that can maybe.
I mean, he used to be drafted in the top 100, but he's fallen fairly significantly.
What's his traits?
Former 4-star recruit, 100-meter state title winner. He was in an RPO heavy offense. Agile athlete who can make sudden cuts. Scat back type with a sprinter's background. Best at zone blocking, where his speed and acceleration can stress defenses, and he offers solid receiving upside.
I can see it.
I can see it as well. You want to go?
I can see it. Yeah, let's do it. Because, I mean, it's the 6th round. He's not going to start. He's going to be training camp guy. He's going to be like a 3rd down back. You guys are now up.
Yeah. Tackle, edge, corner, linebacker, halfback. I almost want to double up on edge. But at 6'3", 240, I would want him to be a better pass rusher. We've already got our running back. Maybe a safety here wouldn't be a bad idea. He's a great run defender, which the Lions value a lot, and he's a decent coverage guy. Doesn't have too many interceptions, but he doesn't have any analysis, sadly. But I think that a Notre Dame safety here wouldn't be a bad choice.
Okay.
It looks like I will be up again.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have more picks than I do left.
Dang it. I would have gone VJ Payne. But
Right.
I'm going to go with Skylar Gill-Howard here because he is a grit index player who appears on some Lions mock draft coverage that I look for on Pride of Detroit. The grit index, it also his PFF grades are fairly solid for a late round pick. I mean, you can't get much better than that for a projected 7th rounder. So I would go Skylar Gill-Howard here. Increase the depth in the defensive line.
For us, I was gonna say honestly, because I was gonna say go another defensive back. We got 1 safety and 2 corners, but we need those defensive backs. Give me the cat.
VJ Payne. I like him to Kansas City as well. I'm gonna go Eli Heidenreich from Navy because Lions could use a fullback or a utility player. He was one of the best pure runners, like Swiss Army knife player. Does that not scream Dan Campbell to you? Football IQ, literally. Toughness, and versatility. Come on.
Literally.
That's a Lions pick if I've ever seen one. Oh, and I'm back on the clock. So I'm going to find a guy that I think is really interesting. Noah Thomas is 6'5", 205, and he ran a 4.4 40. This would be our backup to Isaac Tesla. Also could be an intriguing red zone option if you want to have 2 of your 6'4" receivers. A 7th round pick, you just got to go with a height, weight, speed guy. So I'm going to go with Noah Thomas.
Yeah, he'd be really good for you guys. I think I've got one more pick.
I believe you have 1 additional. Oh, looks like that's the end.
All right, we are done.
We are done.
I think that might mean that our episode is coming to a close as well.
Unless there are any other requests from the chat for an additional draft. But we've got a draft grade of B, according to PFF for me. They did not like my Noah Thomas selection, but screw you, PFF. I will overdraft a 6'4" receiver that runs a 4.4 any day. But they like the rest of them. They like Eli Heidenreich a lot. And Gabe Jacas got my best grade in my top 3 picks. Let's see where yours are. Where's yours?
Is it one of those below? Go back. One of those screenshots below.
Oh, yeah. There it is. Oh, they loved your first 2 selections. Got great value in Downs and Cooper. You got an A-. And VJ Payne got you an A.
Nice. I will take that. I would love that. Yeah, that with tight end in the third round, they wouldn't like the C. Third round is where Travis Kelce got drafted as well, though. So I mean, we do have a lot of tight ends on our roster, but especially kind of with like Noah Gray looking to be the heir. So I understand the low grade on that one, but yeah,
I think the Chiefs need to
rest of that. Yeah. They do, because Noah Gray, he's good, but he is not about to be the next top 5 tight end in the NFL.
Agreed. And we've got some chats rolling in as the stream is coming to a close. Shanna says my hat's really cool. Thanks. Wonder who made it. And Tia says we need more That's DPI merch. Well, sadly, this is custom made, so it's just for me. But we need to find a way to get non-custom made That's DPI merch, so Shanna does not have to slave away in making more hats. But any other mock drafts that we haven't done? I think that we pretty much covered it all, right?
Yeah, we got our full first round mock draft without trades. We got a full first round mock draft with trades, and then we got a full 7-round mock draft with both of our teams. I think the next step is to sit back, hang out at Power and Light District tomorrow, and watch it all happen.
Absolutely, and we'll have some additional content for you guys from there. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. But as always, thank you for tuning in to our draft live stream, and we will see you